Welcome to Flight Path, the weekly podcast for the Tern community, where we share what's new, what's next, and what's coming to the platform you're helping us build. Kicking off season 2, we're focusing on group travel, a big theme this quarter. But that's just one part of our journey. We're also rolling out features for agencies, tackling your most requested updates, and yes, shipping product updates every single week. So join Tern's R&D leadership team, Molly, our head of product, David, Tern CEO and co-founder, and Brad, head of design, as well as an occasional special guest, as we bring you into the loop on everything happening at Tern. We're proud to be the only travel technology platform committed to weekly releases, and we couldn't do it without this incredible, engaged community. This podcast is for you, to keep you informed, inspired, and a part of the process. So if you're ready to stay connected with the latest from Tern, hit subscribe and join us every Friday on Flight Path. Let's keep building Tern together.
Well, welcome back, everybody, to Flight Path. We have another incredible week of updates to cover. As always, you've got your 3 co-hosts here. My name is David, CEO of Tern, Brad, head of design, Molly, head of product, and we've got a full show for you today. Before we jump into that, couple kind of fun announcements. It's like Thanksgiving coming up here in the US. We've got Black Friday that's coming up. And to celebrate, Tern is doing our now annual kind of biggest sale of the year. So if you are a individual advisor, maybe you've been thinking about Tern, maybe you've been thinking about kind of committing to annual, there's no better time to do that. You'll get $30 off. And again, can't give away too much here, but let me just say I'm pretty confident this will be the absolute best price that you will maybe ever be able to lock in at kind of the full featured Tern system. So take advantage of that. It ends on November 30th, and all you have to do is go into Tern, if you're a current user, change your subscription to annual. You'll see a Black Friday deal there. And if you are a new user, you'll see that when you sign up, as long as you do that before November 30th. So that is announcement number 1. Announcement number 2, is that we've got our groups webinar coming up. I mean, I kind of say in the intro, it is going to be a awesome webinar on December 11th. So check out it. You'll see a little promo for it on the Tern website. Just go there, make sure you register just based on the interest level of the kind of groups product and how many people have been waiting for this. We do expect it to be one of our bigger webinars. And we have been bumping up the kind of against the cap of how many people we can support on our Zoom license. So make sure you register and join early for that webinar. And last on the announcement train here, before I take a break from talking, we're off next week. I think for the first time since we started this podcast in June, we are not going to be recording an update next week with the holidays. And we'll kind of wrap up with a fun look ahead at what we're all doing for the kind of long weekend that's coming up. So with that all out of the way, I have to say like and subscribe, leave a comment on your favorite platform. But with that, let's do a week in review. Molly, how's your week been?
Well, if you are tuning in, we're actually recording this podcast a day early. So my week's not over yet, but it's been good. It's been, I feel like a pattern here, pretty chaotic, pretty busy, but in a good way. Lots going on. Lots going on across our group product and some of our collaboration products, in particular, how we help agencies work within the agency together, but just in general, kind of how people are collaborating in Tern. So across both of those larger areas, there's been a lot of projects we'll talk through when we do those deep dives. And then one really fun update, the longest time we've been getting feedback around making the reporting filters sticky on your reporting tab. So we kind of have some defaults if you go to your reporting tab in Tern, but if you kind of change those defaults, especially the date range filter, to be able to see the past year or what have you, and leave and come back, it resets. And that drove people crazy because people have different preferences and they have to configure it every single time. So we were finally able to get in a change to maintain and save those filters on the sales tab, and then received an expected commission is coming very soon. I know, especially with end of year reporting, it's nice to sneak in at this time. So that was a fun little win as well.
Love that. And I've been kind of traveling, so I haven't been watching everything, but I actually found out about that because somebody posted in the Facebook group one of the Tern detectives and was like, "Oh my gosh, like the filters are sticky, like thank God." And so it is fun to see how even those little, kind of just little experience things make such a big difference. Um, Brad, how's your week been? Or the 4 days of it so far, anyway?
Yeah, I mean it's been good. It's felt like Molly mentioned pretty chaotic, but also incredibly productive. Like as we were taking all the notes about what we're going to talk about today, I was like, wow, we got so much done, and it's only Thursday. So I think we're like feeling that a little bit, just like, whew, it's been a week. But my primary focus has been around continued iteration on groups. We'll talk a little bit more about some of the things we're doing to make it easier to like help people sign up for your trip and for that all to flow seamlessly. So that's been a big focus for me this week. And then similar to Molly, had like a fun customer win. Was on a call a few weeks ago with an agency owner who was like, I love commission reconciliation, but I can't close any of my statements because I'm getting like, I have to account for like fees from suppliers that like really I need to like charge my agents for it, but I can't put a negative amount in unclaimed commission. I just can't. Like it only lets me do positive. And she's like, because of that, I have this whole other spreadsheet to manage this. Like, can you just fix this? And we got it done. It was actually one of those things that I think we just didn't consider early on. We're like, well, why would you ever need a negative? Who's going to claim a negative amount? But like, it is necessary to like get all the accounting right. So cool to have some little things like that that we can tackle, this week in addition to all of the stuff around groups and collaboration.
I think that's so cool. I just love that, right? Because I think when you just see the big features, right, it can be easy to be like, oh, and you've seen, this happen with, I think other companies, I think we do a pretty good job of this, but they're so focused on like the new big things, right, that you sort of neglect all the other polish and improvements, right, that you get when you learn. And it's so fun to have a good mix, right? We're talking about all these kind of big new things that are shipping, but also like continuously improving the kind of fundamentals of the Tern platform. So super fun. Excited to dig into that in more depth. My week has been another travel week. So I was home on Monday, which was like such a gift. I have been traveling now for I think 5 weeks straight. But then Tuesday was on a plane to Focusrite. So this is our kind of first time attending Focusrite. It's kind of a travel meets technology conference. And that has been really fun. We've had some really good meetings, meeting lots of other kind of companies in the tech space, talking to kind of people who invest in travel, watching sessions with some really cool kind of leaders in the space. So it's been a cool moment to kind of pull back and really think about kind of the macro travel environment. AI is all the rage right now, as I think it is everywhere. So it's kind of interesting to see like who's actually doing interesting things with AI and travel and who's just AI washing, if you will. But that's been really good. Too fun, just kind of like personal things that were sweet. When I landed in the Phoenix airport, I saw a big billboard for Waymo, and I was like, this is my chance to take a truly driverless car. And so I did. It was an incredible experience, better than any kind of Uber I've done recently. But I learned the hard way that they're not allowed to take highways. So my 28-minute Uber ride turned into an hour and 5-minute Waymo ride. But it was $12 cheaper. I got to like pick my music. Like I was like able to work because it was so smooth. It was so much smoother than a human driver. So I'm pro Waymo. I just waiting for them to be able to take the highways. That'll be a big deal.
No free ads, David.
No free ads. Yeah, sorry. We're gonna have to charge Google for that one. And then I think it's also been really fun this week. Like while I've been traveling, I'm like full on addicted to the Tern Facebook group. And so it's been fun watching people post their landing pages to like get feedback, but also just like seeing all the comments like these look so good and like I'm so excited. So it's been pretty fun just seeing all the different groups, but it has not been good for my wanderlust because I'm just like I kind of want to go on all these group trips now with all the people. So
some of
that's
them
been my week.
Are literally works of art. They're like really cool. I'm so impressed by the community and what they're building and sharing it. Like it's so cool that people are sharing with each other too. I think one of the more unique things about Tern is like how willing people are to like share with each other, put things in the community library, share ideas on Facebook. So I've been very inspired by that as well. Just had to interrupt you to jump in there.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's so fun. I mean, we talk about this all the time, but like the Tern community is like so just motivating, right? Because like you ship this. We're talking with one of our engineers, Rickard, and he just started, I think this is probably like day 8 for him. But it was like he was talking about how cool it was. Like you ship things and then like you can literally see in the Facebook group like the impact that it's having, right? And it's just like not that many companies where you get to see that and experience that as like an engineer. And I know we feel that kind of across the team. So if you're in the Facebook group and you're one of the kind of people that are really engaged, like thank you. It really does like motivate us to see the impact that the work has. Okay, we got week in review, which has already been action packed. Let's talk about some of the deep dives, and we're going to start with trip collaboration. Molly, kick us off there. What's new in the world of collaboration?
Yeah, and as Brad was talking about how coming into this podcast a little bit of chaotic energy, I was like, okay, Molly, like deep breaths. This is the podcast. We can be, can take the foot off the gas for a little bit. So, channeling some Zen right now.
And I just have to say, Molly joins like 48 seconds late. And you could just tell that it was like the whole day had been thrown out of whack. Like it was, Molly's usually 10 minutes early to every meeting. And so like, it's okay, Molly, like take a breath. We're here.
Take a breath. The joke when people are late to meetings is I'm like, I'm chill, I'm cool, that's fine. But I'm like really not. So yeah, I'm a very chill person. Okay, so collaborations. We had a lot of really cool projects related to this. I think the bigger picture here that we're working towards, which spoiler alert, you should see next week or early the following week, is the ability to reassign the owner of a trip. And this is particularly important for our agency partners where you often have something happening where trips will come in at the agency level and they want to kind of triage out those trips and assign them to different agents. But really for anyone who works together, whether it's within an agency or just two advisors working together or what have you, maybe referring trips to different people, there's always cases where the original person working on the trip can't work on the trip anymore or can't really own and drive the trip. Maybe they get really sick, or maybe they leave the agency, or maybe they just can't handle the current workload. They're, too in demand, or what have you. And so the ability to reassign the ownership of these trips is so important. But when we really unpacked what it would take to do that, there were a lot of kind of missing pieces in what we would need. So we had to kind of pull out a few of these sub projects. The first is making the insurance tab kind of unlocked for all trip collaborators, which is something that we knew we already needed, people had already asked for. But when you started to think about actually reassigning fully the trip, it more fully broke. So we did that first, and we launched that, I think last week after the podcast. I don't even remember. God, you guys. Fine. So yeah, we unlocked the insurance tab for collaborators. I launched that Monday morning. Next, we unlocked the ability to actually manage travelers as a collaborator on a trip, and also to assign contacts that are shared with you, but you don't necessarily own to trips. And again, these are things that with our data model and how some things worked, if we hadn't done this, it would break if you tried to reassign the trip owner. But also people wanted to do this already today. It was a little bit weird that you could be shared on a trip, but if you needed to change the role of a traveler or add a new traveler, you couldn't do that previously. So that was another really big win to just make seamlessly working on trips together possible. And then the final one that I can say with a lot of confidence, by the time you listen to this podcast, it will be released, is the ability on the actual activity insurance package level, change the booking owner. And what this means is basically today, anyone who's a collaborator can help plan the trip, but it's the trip owner who gets the kind of commission, the reporting for each activity package insurance that is booked on that trip. And when you think about it, with trip reassignment, that really starts to break, because maybe it's a trip that's midway through planning. A bunch of bookings have been made, even paid out to the original owner, and then you switch it over. You can't just kind of blanket change all of the ownership of those bookings to the new trip owner. So we needed a way to say, okay, it doesn't have to be the same owner on the individual booking, activity, etc., as the person owning the trip. And then the really fun benefit of this is that suddenly this unlocks what we knew was important. It was actually already on our roadmap for early next year, which is the ability for multiple people to work on a trip and all get commission for different activities. So not only is it a really important foundational step for trip reassignment, but just a huge unlock for people working together on trips and accurately getting the commission they need to and reporting on that commission. So I think that's kind of the set of things that we've done with bookings. I think should be live by the time you're listening to this, booking ownership reassignment. Brad, anything like I might have missed, specific details you want to call out there? Any of them?
I don't think so. I think like maybe one of the fun parts about this project is like you just heard Molly explain it all. Clearly it's like super complicated behind the scenes. If you're a user who's like not collaborating all that often, you probably won't notice anything, because like our goal is like to not make it more complicated for folks who the feature doesn't have an impact on or doesn't benefit. So like if you're not collaborating all that much, you won't see that. Even if you collaborate on most trips, but when you don't have collaborators on, you won't see things everywhere that's like, oh, you can change the booking owner here, because it's not relevant to that context. So kind of in the spirit of all of this is still trying to keep it, even though we're introducing complexity behind the scenes, like keep it as simple as possible and only surface things that are, useful for your specific use case.
And I'll just add to, I think this is another one of those, like, we've talked about this before. We talked about this with like some of the email work that's happening behind the scenes. We've talked about this where there's like these pretty substantial like re-architecting of how the data model in Tern works, right? And Brad, like you said, like hopefully in most cases, like you have no idea. Like we've like swapped out the engine on the plane without you even knowing, and like it just keeps working, and it now unlocks all this new functionality for people who need it. But like if you don't need it, it's still there. So it's pretty cool. And you can just see, like, you look long term for this type of feature, and like I'm in a very long term thinking mode here being at Focusrite, but like talking to suppliers and thinking through like how are suppliers starting to collaborate, and like how do they like help work on like trips, and like how do these different bookings flow, and how are different people managing the finance, and like these data models that we're investing in now start to like unlock these like pretty game-changing features long-term, but also like have this immediate benefit of unlocking better collaboration and reassignment in the short term. So pretty cool stuff. Anything else on trip collaboration before we move on?
No, I mean, I know I already said this, but it was fun to be able to move up features that we were planning on working on early next year that we knew mattered a lot, especially to agencies, but to just anyone who really collaborates a lot on Tern, and like move them forward. So it's a good feeling to be able, I think we'll be kind of surprising some people with the timelines for those things. So
Yeah, that flexibility of the roadmap, right, is like something that we have clear goals, like we're always trying to do it, but like Molly and Brad do an exceptional job at like roadmap management, which is a skill. And I brag on you guys all the time, because it's like we'll say we're going to launch groups in October and we ship groups in October, right? Like it's like really cool to see, or started shipping groups, I should say, in October, but like, all these kind of really cool timeline things, but then also being able to say, like, sometimes we push things up, sometimes we put it back. Like there's flexibility to be responsive to users.
You should also give all that credit to Molly. Don't even give me any credit for roadmap management. Have you seen her spreadsheet? She is the master.
The spreadsheet is incredible. Like it is, and it's the number of like, you see like every once in a while a new tab pop up and you're like, oh, like Molly's playing with the roadmap, and there's like version 14, but then it gets merged in. Like it is an art and a science. So it is very, very impressive to watch. Okay. Speaking of groups, we got some group updates to talk about. Molly, you're teeing it up, Molly. So like what
that's right.
What's been going on with groups? And then I think Brad's going to maybe dive into some details.
Yeah.
If my notes are correct.
I think that's exactly right. So I think one thing that matters a lot to us, and we alluded to this a little bit in the week in review, but the big features matter, we know, but especially right after we launch new things, we're always just lasered into the feedback that we're getting. And so we talked in past podcasts about some of the improvements we made to like the group shell and the group itineraries. Landing pages was a big theme over the last week. Listening to support the Facebook community, we have people who we solicit beta feedback from, and just kind of trying to really quickly respond to some of the things that feel like, obvious gaps or improvements that should be made. So that matters a lot to us, and we really appreciate how vocal everyone is about like what's working really well and what excites you, but also what we can make better. We always joke internally that it's always like hype, and these 10 other things that we need, and we like love it. It's the best. So anyways, with that, Brad can actually talk about some of the fun stuff that we iterated on this past week.
Yeah, we've got like 4 or 5 things that we were able to get out this week based on a lot of things related to landing pages. We got quick reactions there, but some things going all the way back to like trip shells and just like as folks are using it more at scale, things that have come up. So on the landing page side of things, we finally got the button you can include, the call to action. We now support putting a telephone number in there so that if a person clicks on it, they have like an easy way to call you. We know some agencies prefer that method of communication versus like filling out a form or email. So that works now. The next piece is being able to reorder sections on the landing page. There's nothing more painful than like putting all the content on the page and be like, I want to add that thing up there, and having to like go copy paste, like move everything down manually. So now you can just add a new section and move them up and down with the click of a button. So shout out to everyone who called that one out. We were able to figure out something pretty quick there. And then we also made some improvements to that call to action. So in addition to being able to put a telephone number in, you can, now the button text wraps. What we didn't account for was that folks want to provide some more instructions in that CTA than just like sign up here. And instead of like preventing you from writing something longer, if you write a longer string, we just handle it. It like looks good. It works in the button. It doesn't weirdly overflow and kind of break on the screen. And then the last thing there is if you're looking at a group landing page on your phone, the CTA, the button used to be like way at the bottom of the screen, and it was kind of hidden unless you scrolled all the way down. So now if you're on a smaller screen where your like advisor card isn't showing in the top right, there'll always be a CTA at the bottom, or like the button at the bottom that you can customize. So travelers and clients will be able to see that and easily click without having to scroll down to figure out what the action is that they can take. I think that's it from the like quick improvements. Anything I missed, Molly?
No, just definitely make sure to test the phone number one. It's like, I think you have to put in like TEL : phone number. It's not the like just the number. So
good call. Yeah, there are instructions in the like Help Center article linked from there. If you need more details there. I also did not cover the last thing on this list, which is a big one, which is being able to search your subtrips. So now if you're looking at your group and you've already got maybe, 20, 50, 100 subtrips within there, now you can search by name at least. And I think name of the subtrip, client name is coming soon, if not already out.
Yeah, that one's actually weirdly gnarly. We don't actually have the model to do that easily within the group trip yet. So I don't even think it will clear during Thanksgiving because we have a very short week, but we have it slated for the week after. So we'll see if we can do something before that. It's very high on our radar, but just the name works in search right now.
I think it's so cool. Like, I mean, we're 23 minutes into this podcast. We've talked about 15 different like small improvements we've made, and we haven't even talked about the big thing that we're getting ready to ship in groups. Like, it is wild how much is going on. It's like really cool.
Hence all the coming into this a little frazzled and chaotic. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, this is like the Tern magic, right? And it's like really cool. It's like we see these, we've expanded the engineering team. We're seeing people like really start to like ramp and add value. Like we have another engineer starting in early December. Like this is the magic of Tern. Like the speed with which we can build is, I think, really unmatched and really unique in just the software business. Like this is really, really fun. Speaking of big things, we've got some form updates coming to groups, and we're addressing some long requested things here. Molly, what's happening with trips and groups and forms? What's going on there?
Yeah, all the group related things. So, the next big milestone, so we shipped landing pages, which was a huge milestone. The next really massive milestone for groups is the ability for clients to fully sign up for your group trip on their own. And we know that's huge. Getting to that as fast as we possibly can by the webinar, really pushing for that, is like our goal. Um, Kind of similar to what I talked through for some of the trip reassignment stuff. In order to do this well in a way that's not like hacky and we have to throw out stuff and it just like works really well and seamlessly for your clients and for you. Um, Surprise, surprise, there are some sub projects to do that. And so the kind of like high level end to end vision is clients can come into your landing page or your group itinerary, they can learn about it and get really excited. They can click to sign up. They can make booking selections so they can pick what room do I want? Do I want this optional add on, maybe a wine tour or a shore excursion? They can fill out required form details that you need from them in order to consider them signed up for the trip, including what travelers are going with them. And then they can make authorizations that you require for sign up right then and there as a part of filling out that sign up process. When they actually complete that, they can land on a filled out itinerary based on the selections that they've made and look at what their trip will entail right then and there. So it's this really magical kind of end-to-end experience. You'll see all of those things reflected on your side as an advisor. And step one of that is the piece that I talked about around having them fill out those required questions, what travelers are coming. So those form details that are needed to get them effectively signed up for the trip. And what's also cool, actually, no, I'm going to stop there because Brad's going to talk more about what this entails. So it's like a piece of sign up, but it's also a really cool piece that's almost like our alpha of sign up. So anyways, I won't spoil too much and I'll let Brad go.
And like Brad, before you this is going to be, I'm so excited for the groups webinar. So another plug, like register December 11th, like we are going to show like what the future of this experience looks like. We craft these beautiful landing pages, your clients get super excited. They're like, I'm ready, like to pull the trigger, like boom, they like sign up for it. And immediately they've got this like highly personalized itinerary that you can continue to stay in touch with them and engage on. Like this is going to totally transform the way that people think about groups and servicing their clients. And this is like the next big step after the landing page. So over to you, Brad.
Amazing. Yeah, I was also having flashbacks like, wait, we did this at a webinar, but we showed mocks of this flow like way back, I don't know, in August or something. And it's cool also that like it's evolved quite a bit since then. Like we're like, we think it's kind of going to be like this. And now it's actually real and you can see it coming together. But to Molly's point, we're starting, we got to build that piece by piece. I guess we don't have to, but we're choosing to, so we can provide as much value as possible, like as fast as possible. So the first piece is just going to be being able to have a form, like a sign up form associated with your group trip. You'll be able to have a separate call to action on the trip landing page that when a traveler clicks it, they'll get taken to a form that's similar to the current trip request form. There's some minor differences because travelers don't need to pick things like trip dates or name the trip when you've already got all that set up and figured out. We're also going to require them to fill out traveler details because we need to know if we're going to make that trip for them and eventually let them pick rooms and activities. We need to know who's actually going on that trip. So it's, there will be that form associated with a group trip. You can completely customize it and in all the ways you can today with like any type of custom question. And when a traveler submits that form, we'll automatically create a subtrip within the group with that form response attached to it. I know it sounds ridiculous that this is an exciting thing, but for the longest time, you've had to go to the forms library, find the right form, find the right response, and then go see all the details. You'll see on the subtrip just a direct link to that form response. So you can get all those answers right there from the subtrip. And once you publish that subtrip, again, that whole itinerary is there for your clients. They can make whatever selections you might have set up today with option blocks, like all those things all the authorizations are just ready to go. So getting closer to that full end-to-end streamlined experience. The real like Easter egg in there is like form responses that create trips are now visible on the trip. And so that's going to be great even for non-group trips. You'll finally be able to see like, wait, what did this person say when they originally requested I plan this trip for them? You don't have to click 20 different things. It's just on tab on the trip and you can find everything you need right there.
Yeah, I just want to double down on that piece. So, as Brad said, all of your trips now will have a forms tab. If the trip was created through a trip request form, the response will be logged right on that tab. And we know immediately, right, the hype plus I need these 10 other things. The immediate question will be, I want to add like the contact responses there. I want to add like other forms to my group trip and track the responses there. This will serve as a hub for future management around some of those things. It won't have all those bells and whistles yet, but we're building it with good foundations to be able to support some of those other use cases more easily. So step one in a major request, we get this request all the time to be able to reference form responses within a trip more easily.
Which like makes total sense with all the like clicking around, right? You have to do, but like, I know they said they wanted a particular like destination, but like, what was it? And yeah, just being able to have all that context right there is going to be huge. We're kind of to the end. As we've said multiple times, like next week is a short week for us. Like we've got, I think, I'd say officially we're off Thursday, Friday, so we've got a 4-day weekend. I know some folks are taking kind of time on top of that. So I thought maybe the kind of week ahead, like, would be fun to kind of talk about like what are we doing for the holiday? Because we get asked a lot to like, people sleep, do people take any time? So like, hopefully you both are doing something fun that we can put people's minds at ease here. So Molly, maybe you want to start. Like, what does next week look like? Any fun family traditions that you're doing? Like,
yeah. So, and actually, one work thing, but I promise I am relaxing too.
Molly in a nutshell.
No, I just wanted to mention, like, for the group sign up forms, I think by the time you're listening to this podcast, it's possible it won't be released. I think it will probably be released either later on Friday or like Monday. So just want to caveat that, like, that might be something that I'm working on next week. And if people are like listening to the podcast and are like, where is it? It's coming soon. We just are talking about it now because we're not doing the podcast next week. So with that, what fun things? Well, work is fun, but what family things next week? So yeah, we have a big celebration over at my husband's our kind of family. His whole family, Zach's whole family, is like in a 10-mile radius of us. So like lots of kids running around and cousins and siblings and his parents. The dessert tables are always twice as big as the food table. It's actually insane, the just sheer number of different like pies and other desserts. It like blows my mind. My contribution is always chocolate turkeys, because that's like a weird tradition in my family. We have chocolate turkeys.
Do you make them, or do you like? Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you just throw that out there, like, you know.
Oh, it's like a candy. It's like a hollow chocolate turkey that like you buy that's like wrapped in color.
Like a bunny, like you get the chocolate bunny, yes, but like turkey form. Yeah. And is it like that big, or is it like mini little like, turkeys?
They're like, like this big. Yeah.
Wow.
I was hoping this was going to be like a Pinterest, like, oh, there's a marshmallow with like a pretzel sticking out, then you put it in chocolate. No.
Does that sound like me though? Or do I just buy something from the store?
You're full of surprises, Molly. You never know.
That is true.
But then the other cool thing is the next day, someone in my book club has rented out a movie theater and is screening Wicked. So I'm like going to a private screening of the movie. So
what kind of book club is this?
Book club are you a part of?
Speaking of being full of surprises, like, oh yeah, I'm a book club that's just renting out a theater. Like, but the turkey thing would be weird if I made those.
That's so cool.
I'll be a bit mysterious, but that
would
be
cool. Molly's going last next. I don't know how to top that, but Brad, anything you can share?
Yeah. My holiday week is starting off with the most fun thing you could possibly do for the holidays, which is running a half marathon. The Philly half
Oh,
marathon and marathon is always the weekend before Thanksgiving. So, been training for that for a while. Excited to have that done and just like really get to chill. It's like the combo of like chilling for the holidays, but also like not being training for a run after like,
so
4
it's
months.
Saturday, right? Like this
Excited
Saturday,
about
you're.
it. Any
Wow.
Philly advisors, maybe I'll see you on the course. Come say hi. I don't know. Um, and then yeah, for the holidays themselves, it's gonna be pretty quiet. Where I alternate going back to my family in Michigan, like Thanksgiving or Christmas every year. So we'll be back with a big family in December for Christmas. Thanksgiving is just like with Jack, his parents, and his sister. So it's like kind of
Uh-huh.
the chillest experience. And we're also going to see Wicked on Friday, but like not at our own private showing. I think we have like, the 4 seats or 5 seats we could find in the corner at some theater. So yeah, excited for that.
Slightly different, but still sounds lovely. And you'll at least have like earned all the Thanksgiving food that you'll eat, right? Like with the half marathon and everything. That is very impressive. Do you have a goal time? I feel like we talked about this, but do you like, is this,
Yeah, well,
yeah,
okay. Y'all can hold me to this. I'm trying to run it in under 90 minutes, which is like
wow.
an hour and a half. It's just under a 7-minute mile. Uh, my watch says I can do it. We'll see if we believe it, on mile 12, 13, but I'm feeling pretty good about it. We'll report back.
Wow. Well, I'm feeling bad about myself right now, but that's okay. A 7 minute mile for 12 miles is very impressive. So we will check back in 2 weeks and see how that went. Um, I fly back tonight to Detroit and I have a 10-hour turnaround and I'm meeting my in-law. Actually, my in-laws are staying at our house tonight. So I think they'll probably get there before I do. And then we're doing a fam trip to Hawaii. They've got this kind of like timeshare thing. So we're spending the week in Hawaii, 4 days on the Big Island in Kona, and then I think like 5 days in Maui. So we're kind of working from there for a couple days. But I don't think there will be any tiny turkeys. We don't have any plans to see Wicked, although Megan does want to see that at some point. So maybe we have to add that to the list.
David,
And we won't be running.
how did you say
So
you couldn't follow mine? You're in Hawaii. That's chocolate turkeys Hawaii.
yeah, but the book club thing was really a pretty big flex. I mean, that
Yeah.
was how big is that book club, by the way?
There's like 5 of us.
Oh my.
It's it's not just for our book club. I'm just invited because I'm a part of her book club. So she has like other friends and family going and stuff.
Okay. That would have been a flex. Be like, I know this is like super in demand. Everybody wants to see it this weekend, but the 5 of us just kind of want the whole theater to ourselves. Like,
David, did you say fam trip to Hawaii? Like fam trip or like
oh
fam trip?
no, yeah. This is a good call out. No, this is a family trip to Hawaii, not a familiarization trip to Hawaii. Um, that is a important clarification in this industry. So thank you for asking that. I did talk to somebody, Whitney, who does the master's in travel. She was at Focusrite. I talked to her, and she's like, "Yeah, I have to. I'm like leaving from the conference a little early. Like, I'm flying to Fiji." And I'm like, "Don't you have a 7-month-old?" She's like, "Yeah, I have a 7-month-old and a 4-year-old, and we're like flying to Fiji." And I'm just like, "You are a stronger person than I am." So, Whitney, if you're listening, I don't know if you do, but like, I hope it went well. All right, we should probably call it there. Thank you all for tuning in. A couple quick reminders. Group webinar December 11th. We have the Black Friday sale running through November 30th. It is one thing I'll highlight, since a lot of people that listen to this are Tern users. The referral discounts don't stack on the $30, but you will get your $10 credit if anybody uses your link. So make sure it's a great time to share the link. If you have people that are thinking about Tern, definitely share that out. And then like, subscribe, share with your friends. Hopefully you're enjoying these things. We'll see you in the Facebook group, and we will see you after the holidays, or at least after Thanksgiving. The first week of December, we'll be back, and we'll see you all then. Bye.
Bye.